If your only question is, can GitHub Actions and GitLab CI/CD both run tests and deploy code, then yes, video over. But that's the boring answer, of course. The useful question is, which one makes more sense once the pipeline grows up? Because CI/CD is easy when it's one repo, one test command, and one deployment button. It gets interesting when one repo becomes 20. It gets interesting when your build needs reusable logic, your deploy needs approval, your runner has access to internal systems and networks, and your secrets are suddenly the most exciting part of the system, which is never a good sign. And it gets very interesting when someone from security or compliance turns up and says, well, that's a nice pipeline, but now can you prove that these controls are always running and prove that a developer can't just delete it from the YAML? And that's where GitHub Actions and GitLab CI/CD stop feeling like two ways to write build scripts and start to feel like two different operating models. So in this video, I'm not just comparing which YAML looks prettier, I'm comparing how they feel when you need runners, reuse, deployment controls, compliance checks, and a delivery process that does not rely on Dave remembering not to click the wrong thing. Let us start with my mental model. With GitHub Actions, my brain usually starts with what happened in the repo. Someone opened a pull request, someone pushed a main, someone created a release. Fine. What automation should run because of that? You define a workflow, usually under .github workflows. That workflow reacts to an event, and then it runs jobs made up of steps. And that model feels natural if your team already lives in GitHub. Your code is there, your pull requests are there, your reviews are there, your releases might be there, so adding automation beside all of that makes complete sense. GitLab CI/CD pushes my brain somewhere slightly different. With GitLab, I tend to start with, what does the delivery flow look like? Build, test, scan, package, deploy, maybe promote to staging, maybe require approval before certain steps. You define that in the .gitlab-ci.yaml with jobs and stages. The runner picks up the job, executes the commands, and GitLab gives you the pipeline view around it. Neither model is automatically better. GitHub Actions nudges you towards flexible automation around the repository. GitLab CI/CD nudges you towards a more explicit delivery pipeline inside a broader DevOps platform. And that matters once your pipeline starts to grow. On day one, GitHub Actions usually has the faster first impression. Create the workflow file, trigger it on pull requests using a Ubuntu runner, check out the code, set up Node, install dependencies, and run the tests. That's basically the hello world of CI, and in GitHub Actions it feels clean. You're not configuring a grand delivery platform, you're adding automation to a repo. GitLab is also quick to start, but it feels a bit more structured than earlier. You define stages like build, test, and deploy, and then you define jobs inside those stages. Jobs in the same stage can run in parallel, and later stages wait for earlier stages to pass. And I really like that. GitHub is great when the question is, what should happen when this repo event occurs? And GitLab is great when the question is, what stages should this change pass through before it reaches production? And next is runners. The YAML is the nice clean bit. The runner is where the YAML becomes a real process on the machine with network access, credentials, a file system, permissions, caches, Docker access, and just enough power to ruin your afternoon. GitHub hosted runners are excellent for convenience. For normal build and test workflows, it is hard to complain. You pick a machine, run the job, and the runner disappears afterwards. But at some point, teams hit the edge. Maybe the job needs private network access, and maybe it needs special tooling. Maybe it needs to deploy into an internal environment, and that's where self-hosted runners appear, and that's when CI/CD suddenly becomes infrastructure itself. Both platforms support self-managed runners, and both require discipline. Now, ask the boring questions early. Can untrusted code run here? Can this runner reach production? Can it access secrets? Can one job interfere with another? If the answer is not really, the runner design is not quite finished. A badly managed runner in a fleet is just remote code execution wearing a DevOps hoodie. Then there is reuse. With one repo, copying and pasting YAML feels harmless, but with 20 repos, it becomes folklore. GitHub has a strong reuse story because of Actions, reusable workflows, and the wider marketplace ecosystem. If you want to check out code, set up a language, log into a cloud provider, build an image, upload an artifact, or run a scanner, there is probably already an action for it. And that is very powerful. But it is still code running in your pipeline, so treat it like code. Pin what matters, review privileged actions, and do not make popular on the marketplace your security model. GitLab reuse story is also stronger than people sometimes assume. It includes templates that have been around for a while, but GitLab now also has CICD components and the CICD catalog. Components are reusable pipeline configuration units. They can be versioned, configured with inputs, and shared as building blocks, and that changes the comparison. GitHub's reuse model feels ecosystem first, and GitLab's component model is more platform first. So if you want fast access to a huge ecosystem, GitHub looks excellent. And if you want to build a governed internal library of standard delivery building blocks, GitLab becomes very interesting. Now, my favorite word, compliance. This is the part most comparison videos skip, which is a huge mistake, because in real organizations, the question isn't just, does this repo have a security scan? The real question is, can the application team remove the scan? Can they skip the scan? Can they bypass the control? And that's the difference between a convention and a control. A convention is, please include this job. A control is, this job runs whether or not you remembered to include it. And for compliance, that distinction matters. This is where GitLab has a stronger native story. GitLab has compliance frameworks, so projects can be labeled with a framework that represents a set of requirements, and GitLab's newer pipeline execution policies let you enforce CI/CD jobs across multiple projects from a single configuration. That means the compliance logic does not only live inside each project's own YAML file, where the same team affected by the control may also be able to edit the control. This is a serious advantage for regulated teams. There is a small wording trap though. GitLab's old compliance pipelines are deprecated, so the modern framing is compliance frameworks plus pipeline execution policies. GitHub can absolutely support compliant delivery too. You can use rule sets, required checks, protected environments, deployment approvals, OIDC for short-lived cloud credentials, and artifact attestation to prove where and how software was built. That's a serious toolkit, but the shape is different. With GitHub, compliance is usually assembled from several different controls, and with GitLab, especially in higher tier setups, more of that governance model feels native to the platform. So which one would I choose? If your organization already lives in GitHub, I would start with GitHub Actions. And if your code reviews, issues, releases, and developers are already there, Actions will be a natural fit. It's fast, flexible, familiar, and the ecosystem, as I said, is huge. Just do not treat it casually once it touches production. Pin actions, use environments properly, avoid long-lived credentials, and control who can edit deployment workflows. Make sure required checks are actually required, not decorative green ticks. If your organization already lives in GitLab or wants CI/CD to sit inside a broader delivery platform, GitLab CI/CD becomes very, very compelling. Not because it can run jobs. Everyone can run jobs. All CI/CD tools run jobs. That is what they do. The strength is that pipelines, runners, environments, reusable components, security policies, compliance frameworks, and deployment governance sit closer together. That matters when you are no longer optimizing for one team shipping quickly. You're optimizing for many teams shipping safely. So my verdict is this: GitHub Actions is brilliant when automation should live close to the repository, and GitLab CI/CD becomes more compelling when the pipeline is part of the organization's delivery control system. The wrong question is, which CI/CD tool is better? The better question is, where does your delivery control actually live? And if your current answer is 900-line YAML file copied across 12 different repos maintained by one person, also called Dave, the tool may not be your biggest problem, but choosing the right tool can make the next version of that problem a lot less painful. If you are using GitHub Actions or GitLab CI/CD today, I'd be interested to know what your setup actually looks like. Not the perfect architecture diagram version, the real version. Are you just running tests and builds? Are you deploying to production? Are you using self-hosted runners? Do you have actual compliance controls, or is it still mostly, please don't delete this job because the auditor will be sad. Drop in the comments because I would like to do a follow-up in real CICD patterns, the ones that work, the ones that scale, and the ones that quietly turn into YAML archaeology. And if you want more practical DevOps and compliance breakdowns like this, do subscribe to the channel if you're so inclined, and until next time, stay merge ready.